What's up, guys? Happy Friday. All right. Let's get into it. Morning, good evening, good afternoon. All right, where we at? Where we at, fam? Got the chat going. Come on, let's get this chat going. What's up, everyone? Carlos, Ruben. What's up, fam? Harshi. Got Sen in here. What's Gucci? What up, Seth? Alfredo, ¿cómo estás, bro? ¿Qué me cuentas? Amy, Jesus, Luis. What up, Lonnie? Crazy drop on oil. What could have caused it? Let's take a look. I know, let's see. let's see. What's funny is there's this guy who's like, if you're short on oil, I've got some bad news for you. Proceeds to get obliterated. All right, let's take a look at some oil stuff here. All right, UPS guys, if you're in the stock side of stuff, go check this out. My boy Ozzy here sent me a little reminder. I hadn't looked into this in a bit, so, but we'll take a look at oil real quick here. All right, so yeah, we've seen a nice drop here throughout the night, throughout London, and then now clearing liquidity. So we're getting below all of this now. And this is good, though, because this can take us around where we had June's price action, a huge sell-off to a reversal. So it seems like today could be the day where we can kind of see this swing trade start. So today, I think it's going to be today, but we'll see. And we can even dive into what's going on here. But here's where we see some support, and the reversal. I like using the replay tool and then bringing it over here, so we can get into a smaller time frame, get a bit more detail. But yeah, this is definitely where we start seeing things work its way down. So aggressive drop. We do chop up a little bit more, and then we get another move to the downside. So for an entry point, I think right around here, 58.40, 58.42, this seems like a healthy entry here. So something like this. It looks like it could have a good reversal from this moment. And this drop does a good job rebalancing here before we get the continuation. So let's go ahead and kind of stretch this out. So yeah, hopefully this makes more sense. Where it came from, like what's the excuse for volatility? Well, we have right now, we were squeezing quite a bit. So a breakout was incoming, and then now we see it work its way down. But what was the high impact news that works as an excuse? Honestly, I'm not really sure. All right, yeah, I'll just take a look. I'll see if I can find anything, but we don't have much going on now today, though. Maybe some of you in here are more dialed in. I'm not as dialed in all the time. Toby, nice, man. Oh, I see you updated the channel, your channel. Yeah. Oh, no, it was great. I'll go into indices today as well. I ended up taking a few shots at NQ and then was able to ride this out as well. So some stop profits on these. Unfortunately, I didn't take my exits where we had resistance or liquidity, so I kept getting stop profited out of these setups. But you guys got 3R potential on the first one, 3R and a half potential, almost 4 on the second shakeout setup, and then we got a third shakeout setup right over here. Let me go ahead and just kind of move this over. We got the third one right there, and this one we were able to write out. So, yeah, man, good stuff on getting that, seeing it clear. London playing into Tokyo here. I didn't really have an entry for this. Like, I didn't have an entry, so, didn't take anything. But, yeah, well done. Well done, Toby. Right now, I don't know if we're going to continue our way down. I'm curious, because we do clear a lot of this liquidity just to come right back up. So I wonder if we're going to see a bounce out of kind of this area, or if we're going to just work our way back down to somewhere over here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. Go ahead and close this out. Just kind of clean up the chart a little bit. But yeah, good play. Good stuff, Toby. Oh, the conflict coming to an end? That makes sense. That's a good excuse for some volatility. I could understand that. All right. So okay. So yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking for oil. We're not too far. Still, we would have to drop like another 120, 130 pips for a play here. And then a trade like this, to be honest, this could be the beginning of a swing trade. So depending on what accounts you're trading on oil, might be worth holding this thing for a minute. Yeah, I'm going to look to ride this one out. I think there's a really good chance for a 2.75R, honestly pushing more towards a 4R. But even with that being said, I think big picture, like weekly time frame, we have a lot, especially if we eat this up pretty quick. We have a giant reversal that I'd have to show you on the continuous chart. But this could be the beginning of a swing trade for sure. All right. So I'll go ahead and share this here. Let me drop this in the Tradetopia, in the public one here. So we have today's setups. What the? All right, that's weird. What? This thing is crazy. Might need to charge this keyboard. All right, this thing is bugging. Okay. Yeah, this thing is losing it. That's so funny. All right, we'll start with this, and then I'll add on to this. There's not really a rush right there, so we're good. Okay, so we have New York open in about 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Dow yesterday, super slow to work its way up. Like extremely, extremely slow. If you look at the way it was working its way down, it started to bottom out towards the end of New York session. We get one more push down before we start getting this reversal. We have seen a shift in momentum. So on the 5-minute, we're now trading more bullish. We saw even with London session here. So let's just focus on current price action. We get a nice little sweep down. So we just get below here, playing into these Tokyo lows. We did gap down before it just ran up again. So we basically mitigated this, and we do have a nice push down before the market rallied. And this happens during London. So as you can see, this is the London low. And then going from here, there is imbalance down here, and this could go in alignment with that push down. So I am curious to see how we continue to move on throughout this session. But what I'm noticing right now is NQ, despite pushing past yesterday's London session highs and getting up into this range, we're now seeing a pretty big difference in price action with NASDAQ. So look at Dow pushing higher and higher, while NQ is starting a bearish move. So we're kind of trading very differently today. And this has been the story, honestly, for a bit now. Basically, for all quarter, we've been getting a lot of different, like, unrelated. It's like these aren't correlating perfectly well together, especially to start the session. So they'll kind of go on their own mission, and then later on we start to get something a bit different. But to kick off this session, I can turn on the session indicators here. But we have our London low right here. We already took out, Tokyo, the Tokyo lows. So we started trading into yesterday's New York session imbalance. And I don't really love any setups here on NASDAQ or Dow, for that matter. I mean, we have NQ push down here and then rally, which this was towards the end of New York session. But this isn't really a massive liquidity sweep either. When you look at the market here, this was a push down, but did it take out a ton of sellers or buyers? Not really. Could this have induced some sellers? Maybe a bit. But yeah, I don't see this as a huge shift in momentum. So I'm not fully sold on something like this. And then what I am curious about seeing here is, do we take out liquidity? Like, we have these London and Asian highs, and we traded up to here, which we haven't really reversed out of these zones. So I'm curious to see can we get reversals out of the market here if we work our way up to here and it's a slower path to the upside. So I'm curious. I mean, we do see this London push down that takes out quite a bit of movement. Honestly, we get a really good rebalance in here. Could go lower, but it does a pretty good job. So the fact that we come down, come right back up, and then we stay trading up here, there is potential that this wants to just come down and then rally. However, so like here is that you get that big sweep down. And then this comes right back up. And we do create some solid price action here before we start to work our way further down. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get down to here and we can get a reversal. What has me a little bit concerned is just like how do these move? Like, if they both are pushing down together and we have a nice correlated move down, I feel like I'd be more inclined to taking Dow since it's already trading up here quite a bit. So that would be one option. And then from there, what we do have left behind from yesterday was this huge push up before we started to work our way down. So take a look at Dow Jones from yesterday's New York Open, and we get a pretty good move here. So you can see that last push up before everything just drops. So if we can get up to here, and if we work our way up to here, and especially if Dow is the last one to work its way to this high, then I am interested in shorts up here as well. So let's see how this unfolds. Right, we got about 2 minutes. 2 minutes out. All right. All right, cool. So, y'all make sure you're hydrated. Could you look at natural gas? Yeah, I could take a look at it. I think there should be a drop coming very soon. The problem is you never know. Yeah, what's up, Corey? UJ shorts could set up soon, maybe to fill the gap from the weekly market open. Just saw Jim Cramer bullish on gold at the top. Yeah, he posted the other day. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. Right when gold started to just crash out. So let's go take a look at gold and silver. Actually, you know, someone asked about natural gas. I can take a look at that real quick. I haven't looked at natural gas in a bit. What's the contract? What's up, Brandon? What's good? I always forget. I haven't looked at this, so what's the current contract? Let's see. It's NGX. Okay, here we go. Way down here. All right. I see why you're asking me about it. I had a nice push down to here. So there's a little bit of an imbalance here, but we do see a sell-off before this thing rallies. So you see a push down. The market goes from here. Yeah, this looks like this looks like it can play out. I get it. I see it. And then there's a handful of shorts that look like they're ready for a move up here. So natural gas longs. Yeah, you have this push down before everything else comes together. All right, but we have New York Open. Let's go take a look at this thing. Okay, so we're definitely... All right, so everything's kind of on the same path again. A nice little push up. Dow is pushing towards clearing out. Going into it looks like it's going to get into this imbalance soon. And Q picking up momentum as well, trading into where we had gotten really bullish. So, and Q making kind of the first move here. And as much as Dow worked its way higher, it is losing momentum right away. Okay. Then let's see, what about S&P? Now, S&P should be clearing these Tokyo highs where it had built up liquidity. And there it goes. All right. That should take us to, similar to Dow. It's got that last push up here before you could see a short. All right, so that's pushing up nicely. And there goes Dow as well. Okay. It looks to me like Dow is going to be the sell, especially if we get NQ to take out London highs, Tokyo highs, and I wonder kind of how all of this aligns. So I do like indices shorts. Gonna wait this out. Looking at price action here, I don't really have. Like, sure, I could work out what's up here, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna just buy randomly. This could pull back. This could take a sweet time to get up there. So, yeah, chilling here. Okay, all right. So we're seeing the Dow pick up a lot of momentum, honestly, a lot of it. So I wonder, because if we look at this big picture, we have the market setting up like this right now. And here we go. Okay. So the highs that we had seen here for NQ, this played out like somewhere over here. So if we're looking at this right now, I think we're seeing NQ starting to lose momentum a little bit quicker. Like it's got a little bit of a struggle here. So it takes out London highs, plays into within the Asian session range here, quickly drops. This could either just keep pushing higher after this drop, or if we keep pushing even lower, either we end up getting a shift in structure and maybe we look for shorts, or we may end up getting a shakeout where we could look for shorts as well. We'll see. Just gotta let this thing, give it time. I'm just gonna give it some time. But yeah, so these natural gas, this setup, it looks good. I haven't been trading natural gas for a while. So yeah, seeing it dump from here, you see another pullback and then the imbalance. So yeah, in this zone looks good. This is relatively set up though. So not sure if the RR is there from up here. Obviously a lower entry would have been preferred. Maybe this drops back down and it's a better risk reward for an opportunity. Okay. All right, I got alerts set here across the board. So let's see. Natural gas. All right, looks like these things are picking back up here for indices. Okay. What was this low here? The 3.133. All right. If it drops a bit again, I'll be interested in it. I have something about this that I'm not fully convicted in. I don't know if it's just natural gas trauma. I think it's just natural gas trauma. So this will probably be a half risk trade for me if it even comes back for this zone. Yeah, I'll probably throw something like at it. All right. In the meantime, Dow is slowly working its way higher. S&P is as well. These are very similar in their approach. And let's say Dow is the setup, right? So if that's going to be the case, then I'll probably look to, I'd say I would start looking for shorts here where we had resistance. And then if you go a little bit higher, we see a lot more of these key levels sitting around just under 46,900. So I think we could see like 46,895 kind of as a great place for a sell-off. Everything's lining up nicely. Look at this. We have NASDAQ starting to clear out Tokyo highs. We're about to kind of cross over into this zone where we had that last pump here. So NQ building up a ton of momentum. And then this is lining up with Dow's move as well. So to me, it looks like, it looks like shorting Dow is going to be the play for me. So, I mean, I'll leave it up to you guys to make your decision. But we're getting pretty close into these areas. And then now what you want to do is just make sure you have the proper contract size. You know, you don't want to get caught up here trading too big or too small. So whether you're trading with CFDs or futures, yeah, just make sure you're lined up. So we're starting to see it play right out of the open a little bit. I'm gonna wait a little longer. I'm not gonna look to take this right off of the open. I want it to push up a little bit more. So I'm looking more for like this over here. Yeah, closer to like this area. A little under a 50-point stop, and see if we can go from there. Now, looking at price action right now, here is basically what this looks like. So they're both dropping decently right away. So I can understand if it's kind of a hard call. I'm like, oh, should I short Dow? Should I short YM? I'm looking to sell Dow Jones because it just took longer to get to yesterday's price action here, whereas NASDAQ's already trading Wednesday's levels over here, Asian session Wednesday's levels. So that's why I'm a bit more inclined towards Dow. In the meantime, we also have, here's the thing though, S&P also worth keeping in mind here. Now, if we continue to sell off from here, like, because this move was about an 88-point drop or pump. So for me, if I see a drop like this, just an aggressive sell-off, that's going to be a sign of a mitigation, and that could just, left without me. So right now, look, we're seeing Dow approaching this again. S&P and NASDAQ. NASDAQ selling off first, actually. Holding off, selling out of here. Not sure if it's just going to play out of this and then just run again. But this definitely doing a good reversal. The push to the upside we saw was about 23.5 points. And right now we're already selling off just about 22, 23 points. So I think I'm going to avoid shorting NQ. It looks like we already saw the exchange of money here. So possibly entertaining the idea of shorting S&P. It's looking very, very similar to Dow, but we'll see. And then I'm cool. Like, for example, if Dow Jones just sells off from here, it is what it is. I'm not interested in trading out of the opens anyways. That to me is just like too wide of a stop. The RR it's just not really there. Okay. All right. Give it a little bit more time. Let me look at the chat. Oh, what's up, Austin? What's good, bro? Yeah, we talked about oil. No, I'm looking for it to go lower than that. All right, so S&P pulling up. Okay, looks like S and Q are probably pushing higher again. So yeah, it looks like Dow might be is gonna be the short then. We're already seeing S&P back in this range, further along, while Dow is kind of chopping up in here. Now it's just a waiting game. What's up, Leon? What's good? Austin, are you in natural gas? You take that? All right, let's see. This kind of stalling out here, huh? Not doing too much. Okay, so while we wait for a bit more on, because Dow is starting to push down now here. Nothing I can really do there. Place another alert if it comes back up. So, okay. Seeing the rally. Back on gold. I was considering, possible plays on gold or silver. Didn't end up taking anything. Just didn't have the confirmations. But we are starting to see the rally on gold here. So I like this short. I really like this short from here. We saw gold pick up some momentum yesterday before, in that London-New York crossover. So we see it take out these highs and then immediately sell off. So this gold play definitely looks solid here. And I would say we could at least take it down into this imbalance. So if we do work our way all the way up here, and then here's where I would be looking for shorts. So something like this could give us a great trade. Just taking it to kind of where we saw this initial structure point gives you well over a 3.5. But hold that thought. Okay, so Dow pulling back up. S&P, very similar. And Q, chilling. So Dow, very, very close to areas. If you guys are interested in selling Dow Jones before it gets into this area, feel free. Here we have some resistance, so I could totally understand the market starting to short out of this range. Totally understand it. S&P kind of at these reversal levels as well. Maybe if you wanted to, let's say, introduce like half risk, cool. But one thing that I do notice is a lot of times we'll see one of these indices break above, sweep, take out sellers, and then do the reversal. So NQ definitely more bullish, seems very close to taking out these highs, and that could be what sets up this trade over here. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna start to introduce a little bit of a setup here. So look at that, we're starting to lose momentum right away. We got up here, started to lose a little bit of steam. Look at that, dropping about 20 points already. Okay. This was just shy of my entry, like 6 points away. The audacity, man. And yeah, so here's where you can just see so much resistance over here. So, these are key reversal levels. So I totally understand the market wanting to sell out of this zone. So in reality, this is kind of like just the area where I think we could see reversals, which is just like right in here. That's why I mentioned, like, if you wanted to start to maybe just introduce a little bit into yourself, almost like dollar cost average into this idea, then I get it. Yeah, I totally get it. So as of right now, I'm still I'm not in yet. I'm gonna go half risk. If we get back above 46,875, I think I'll throw a little something in there. I just have a feeling that we're gonna get NQ to clear these highs, because this is an easy place to play stop losses, you know. So this, I feel like, would end up taking out some decent liquidity over here. Man, look at this! What a setup already. Unfortunate that we're not in there. So let's see if we get a shot. Otherwise, nothing you can do. Fuck. Down about 40 points. So not fully mitigated yet, but definitely starting to make moves though. So the upside, right? The move to the upside was what we talked about, 80, 85, 86, 88 points. Got a good drop, about 50 points down already. If we can get a nice little reversal in here, back up into the zone, I'm game. We have a lot that we could work our way down to. At least New York Open would still give like a 3R. Well, if we take a lower entry, maybe like a 2R. We'll see. This could still get up here, but I don't want to count on it that much. All right, NQ now working its way down. S&P making moves. Yeah, damn, this is sad. All right, just give me a second so I can throw my monitor out this window. Who's in there? News in 13. Yeah, we got some news here in about 10 minutes. Shorted gold betting against JC. And Dow liked the rejection on the 15-minute candle. Yep, I'm in. You guys are in? Awesome. Brandon's in there. All right, took yes and wham. Did you split risk or why'd you take both? I was being so picky with my entry that I ended up missing this move. So, okay, let's say you took an entry, then you should be sitting well over a 1.5R. At this point, guys, definitely make sure you move your stop to break even. Yeah, no reason to carry on with risk. There should be no risk involved anymore. NQ, all of them played out. NQ, Dow, everything played out here. We're getting into where we've seen some structure before with NQ. Beautiful. All right, so looks like for many of you, you're sitting at around a 2R. Some of you, this might be that take profit time. So depending on how this moves, this still could give us another selling opportunity. Let's just see if we get... let's see if we are going to sustain like price action here, and if we do get a reversal, we kind of want to get proof that price wants to stay trading over here. So if we can see something like this, the market just kind of building up, then a pullback could be an entry. Not sure when this would happen, so maybe it goes lower, but yeah, not bad. Yeah, Dow almost back at New York Open here. In there, well done, well done, nice. This here would be the T. This is where I think is your first like conservative exit is right there. Meanwhile, we have NQ working its way down. New York Open was right there, so yeah, New York Open's right here. You do have a sweep of these lows, a little bit of liquidity, and then it runs. And maybe he gets there. Took profit. Nice. I took 2RR. Nice, Daniel. Good stuff, man. Well done. Well done, sir. All right, so a couple of you hitting TP already. Let's go. Okay, so I'm not in gold shorts yet. I would want to wait a little bit longer so it could trade up to here. And then we get this. So let me go ahead and add this. But depending on this scenario, yeah, this is the conservative exit. I think this could go even further, but we'll work with this. All right, so let's go here. we got gold. Okay. All right, so NQ bouncing a bit more aggressively. So if we get a shakeout, it looks like it could be with Dow. Now remember, if you didn't take this, if you missed this, then look. Don't chase an idea. Don't force a play. Just chill. Just trade. Wait for a new opportunity. It might not even be today. It could be another day. The biggest mistake people make is that they bring what could have been and they make it so important. Don't worry about that. Chill. It's all good. All right, silver. Silver, though. Silver is setting up for a nice little buy over here. So we got a nice sweep over here. This clears out some nice movement. And then we get the continuation. We got higher highs. We've been trading up here. So, yeah, silver looks good to me. I'm very much open to this play over here. Silver and gold kind of selling out of similar places, but gold just hasn't been as bullish. So, yeah, we'll deal with this. Leaning more for this one. Mike, the Tradetopia merge can be delivered to Peru. Yeah. We have had it delivered to Australia, to Sweden, Switzerland, Costa Rica, El Salvador. Everywhere. Yeah. All right. So at this point, conservative exits have been met, in my opinion. So if you wanted to take a profit intraday, great place for a profit on Dow. Nice little 2.5 R collected there. I waited a little too long, so missed out on it. I wouldn't say, I'm okay with it. Like, it was just part of my entry. Like, I just saw key levels of resistance here before, so it is what it is. Won't be the last time I miss out on this, and I'll tell you what, I won't remember this trade in a couple of days probably. Yeah, Switzerland and Sweden are the same thing, obviously. Okay. So metals, chilling. Oil, oh wow, oil bounced early. So yeah, I want to see it go lower still. So, okay, let that do whatever it wants to do. NZD had a nice little sell-off, came back up, pulled back. So this is an entry here. I wasn't, up for this, but nice little push. Not bad. Nothing else for me there. The yen, so with the yen right now, I pulled up the continuous chart here, and maybe this is off or something, but this is getting closer to February's sell-off here. So this is what I'm waiting for the market to get down into here before I start taking any buys. So it looks like it still has to drop some more, though. And if we look at this with USD/JPY, now USD/JPY, we are going to be looking at CFDs. So the data is a little bit different, and it's pulled from futures. So it's getting up into here, but I think it should still go more in alignment with what futures have. And we don't really have a setup yet. So yeah, not really forcing anything there with the yen. So I'll give it some time. No setups with euro. Still sideways. Not a lot of confidence in the fact that we keep losing momentum every time we try to go up. So despite that little push down, not fully sold. CAD futures got a nice pump. 7:30 news. So this could have potential buy scenarios. You know, we see the sell-off here during Asian session. And then the market comes up, squeezes, pumps. So at this point, I mean, we're still in a downtrend. So I would probably approach this with half risk, because we've just been in a downtrend after downtrend after downtrend. The market here, let me pull up, because I do think that we got into a higher time frame zone as well. Let me see if I remember. I can't tell. Did we clear this liquidity here? By a little bit. Cleared that and then started to make a move. So with something like this where we're getting we failed to actually create demand down here, and then we're trading up here. This could be a decent setup. I would want it. I think a great RR trade would be to get under this sideways movement. So somewhere in here below this consolidation. And then, yeah, counter trend, I'll probably go half RR on this. And it'll depend a lot on what this looks like. Like, are we going to create demand over here? Are we going to go higher and then look for something like this? So definitely CAD futures, interesting. Okay, so we're seeing NASDAQ rally really quickly, and so clearly not something I'm looking to trade. I'm not looking to sell. Yes, we had a nice little push up and then it dropped, but as you can see, Dow is holding on to these levels significantly better. So Dow looks like it's creating a different sell opportunity right there. So here, okay, this is done. This as well. So sells were successful. Let me zoom out a little. Yeah, right there. So, all right, yeah, that's done. Oh wow, I stand corrected. And NQ is like, yeah, really? I gave you a second chance. You don't want to be involved here? That's fine. Jesus. All the trades I'm saying no to. The audacity. The audacity. So either way, it traded right into this this NASDAQ sell-off, which just clears liquidity, creates an imbalance. So I wonder if we can continue and get a good bounce out of this range here. I could definitely see that happening. We get just a continuation now that this is filled in balance. So clears liquidity into here. Yeah, do we see the market rally from this point forward? I think so. I feel like we can get the market to bounce out of there. So some of you might even be may have wanted or had taken this kind of move. Nice little play, you know, just like that. See what happens. Because what we could see too is we just might get, we might see the market. Like if Dow wants to push higher, we could just get Dow pushing higher into here. That might take NQ even further. And then, then we can see another short looking at, let's see what S&P is doing. Similar. So S&P pushed down, traded into New York open, and then mitigated. So both of these have mitigated that zone now. And we saw Dow, right, clear this here. Okay. Anyone take NQ buys by any chance or no? Playing out of the open? All right, let's see. So, okay, we went over CAD. We got pound here. Pound still bearish, still pushing down. Not a lot of signs for reversals quite yet. So the wait continues. And then Australian chilling. Now, this has been dropping to September 26th level. If you look, the pound is well below that. CAD is well below that. Euro is well below that zone. The yen also well below that. NZD, Swiss, everything has dropped so aggressively. So I wonder if we get actually a decent buying opportunity out of here, because clearly the Australian is holding up significantly better than everything else. The only downside with this is that we don't necessarily have a higher high here. So we rallied, and then we did, I guess we did. We did trade above here for some time, and we've been holding up here. This has been it struggled to work its way through. So I do like this trade. The 1 hour does give us the proper it does give us the proper shift in momentum. So we get above here. So yeah, you know what? I'm open to this idea. We have definitely motive and balance. And compared to everything else, this is struggled to drop at the same momentum. So the fact that it's been a stronger bull versus everything else, yeah, it could give up a good play here. And then let's look at news for the week. Australian doesn't have anything until Wednesday, and that's the basically interest rates, unemployment rate, all that good stuff. So they could see that, and then we did to find out that next week we should be able to see CPI and PPI data, etc. So it's looking pretty good. So, all right, let me share this one. The entry here, we have that last rejection, the imbalance. I'm looking for something like right over here. Good place to take the entry. And then, yeah, I mean, if this is right, we should be able to get a nice move. It's honestly a pretty massive trade. We'll see. We'll see how the market responds once we get there. So here's AUD. All right, added to the list. Okay, nice pump with NQ. We love to see it. Nice move. We have, it looks like the yen, or we have Dow pulling back up. So this stuff definitely looks like a shakeout to me. Sweep the high. We come back down. We trade sideways here for the last 13 minutes or so. Sideways movement. Let's see what happens. NQ just chopping up and down. Let's see what's S looking like. Okay, similar. Okay. Who did everyone take profit on their Dow trades? Are we how are we approaching this? Do we like the shakeout setup here for the sell? How do we feel about it? I like it. All right. So just honestly, we don't have too much to wait for either. We should have this here soon. Only about 40 points out from that. See that thing rally. Get a nice little push to the upside. And all right, in the meantime, we've looked at everything relating to indices, majors, dollar, oil, natural gas, etc. Let's see, where did we get to with natural gas? Did it keep pumping, I'm assuming? Yeah, okay. Looks like this is mitigated already. Okay, cool. Taking a look at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's been way more sideways. So we got the rejection here and then came back down. Bitcoin looking more and more like this was a shakeout. Comes right back in. So I wonder if we get, I don't know, something back under here before we rally some more. But same thing on the way up. This pulls up just a little momentum. So a lot of indecision. Just a lot of indecision for crypto right now. Zooming out, I think, gives a better indication. But we work our way up. Market can't hold these levels. We work our way down. Market struggling to hold those levels. So interesting. I'm not really taking any trades with Bitcoin at the moment. Ski definitely at a discount. Dog starting to bounce a little bit. Let's take a look at stocks though. Stocks here. Webull still at, great entries. Snapchat chilling, nothing too crazy. I need to add UP. Oh yeah, I do have UPS. UPS is pulling up into my zone. Did I not add this in here? No, I didn't. So what I wanted to see here, and Ferrari also in great entry zones. All right, here we go. So UPS came in to fill some of this imbalance. I thought we can get kind of where it really sells off. So I am looking at just a little bit lower for something like this. See if we can get that. And then for those of you, I know some of you were interested in this Ferrari take. Here we have it. Now this thing is back in this zone. Let me zoom out though. Maybe we have something else. So we already mitigated this. So actually, hold on, my bad. Since we had already mitigated this, I haven't taken anything yet, but we rejected up to here, but then we just tanked. So we got more of a distribution than anything else over here. All right, just checking in here with indices here. So, I mean, from here, I think we could break down, get into this gap then. So I'm gonna stay patient with this. Just this Ferrari's been on an absolute rampage, so we don't necessarily have to force our way into anything, you know, and rush to get into anything over here. I think we could wait it out, see what happens if we trade into these levels. And this is kind of how I would. So let's say, because I missed this entry here, this is how I would have managed my stock. So let's say we were in this, and then you were up to here. One, this would have been a place to take some profit. Not that it would have been that much, but it would have been something. But let's say you were still in it, and it gaps down to here. Here's where I would just take a small loss, you know, instead. Because now there's not really a reason for it, unless it wants to hold this last level of supply right there, and maybe it gives a little bounce. But yeah, this could easily just keep working its way down. Now let's see, what are today winners of the day? Not really a lot. Intel pushing a bit closer, getting closer and closer to 40. But not a lot of big winners and not really a lot of big losers either. So pretty mild day so far with stocks as well. I think if anything, if you're looking to get into the challenge, you're getting the opportunity. That's for sure. With Webull or with Ski, both giving the opportunities right now. Now looking at Dow or NQ, still no decision yet. You know, we're not. I didn't get up to this area for sells, so just kind of waiting. This doesn't necessarily have to get there right now either. This could take its time for all we know. So just something to consider. So let's see. Let's see what we get over here. Now, looking at the way that this is dropping, look at how this is working its way. So let's look at the scenario from, instead of looking at it from like a shorting perspective, we could look at this from it. Well, what the heck? I think it's tripping over here. We could look at this from the lens of buying, right? Is there a a place here where it would make sense to look for a long. Now we have, for example, these levels over here where Dow made that last sell-off before it rallied. So that's one. NQ, we were, looking to see if this push down, which took out Tokyo lows, set up London lows here. Is this enough momentum for a buy opportunity? And I think we actually just got it. I think this, like what we had over here, might have been the push to the upside. So I think at this point, I'm just, because of how we went up and back down, I just kind of want to see something completely different, completely new before taking anything. So let's wait it out. Now it looks like NQ is really playing out of this imbalance again. So we had gotten here earlier, pushed back down. Now it really picked up some steam. Okay. We could see the market go for these areas still. Here we had like liquidity right there. And then this could drive, this could be what drives now Dow finally back up here. But the fact that we keep coming down, we're building up liquidity, we can definitely come back down here later today. All right. All right, let me check the chat. Let's see. You guys have any questions? Anything you want me to look at before we wrap up today? BLS reported that CPI may not come out on the exact date, but wants the data to drop before the end of the month. Okay. Got you. Another green day. Well done, Jose. Keep crushing it. Took out 2R. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, cool. Thoughts on Lulu? Yeah, so I'm still, I dollar cost average it into Lulu. And then since it started to just kind of stall out here, I think we could still get a lower low. So I'm not taking another entry in here until we get below 160. Yeah, 160. Someone asked me about gold. When we looked at this earlier, silver looked like a more enticing buy than gold did. Yeah, silver's holding up bullish structure significantly better than gold. So gold did play into this imbalance and it's getting a nice rejection. However, silver had a similar play. So higher probability if this were to get down to here for that to play out. I'm more inclined to take a gold sell. So I have alerts on gold sell, and I did share those with you guys in the chat as well. All right. So I was going to wrap up, but now that we're getting pretty close to the entry, I'd at least want to get you guys in and then manage it. So, yeah, I mean, here we have sideways movement. Basically, we got liquidity up here. So Dow seems like it's just kind of one push away. One nice little push away from a little something. And depending on what this looks like, I might see something. Depending on how this turns around, if this just keeps rallying and let's just say our Dow idea is off, then we might even have a buy set up again on NQ. Could be a good old shakeout. We shall see. All right, let's see, chat. What you guys got? More of a liquidity capture. It would need a good liquidity capture, but we did just take out all of this, though. You know, he earned it. All right. Cool. Well, guys, I mean, I think the one to focus on, the Dow one. Yeah, so we did. I mean, this entire move takes out all of these sellers. So the entire move clears out tons and tons and tons and tons of money. So it's not just the 5-minute, this last 5-minute push. I think overall it clears out a significant amount. So that's kind of my perspective. Yeah, not just this is kind of the refined entry for it, but overall, yeah, it was obliterated tons of sellers. So now that it did that, here was just kind of the last batch. Here we have just a micro example of it, and then it does its thing. But you know, if you do feel like there's not enough liquidity, then of course approach it with less risk maybe, or you know, just wait for a different trade, not one that needs to have. Thoughts on Ski's price action? Is the shakeout you perceive? So we ended up getting the move, right? Like the shakeout that we saw did play out. It just wasn't enough to hold. Like it just didn't hold it enough. So, yeah. So we got the bounce. The problem is then we just didn't sustain it. It didn't run as far. At the end of the day, I'm not too concerned because we are sitting at these April lows, and it looks like we are actually getting possibly another version of it, so another sweep of liquidity on the daily time frame, and then this is kind of eating this back up. So I'm not too concerned about this, considering we're at near the lows historically, anyways. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. Cool. Well, guys, happy Friday. Absolute pleasure being here with all of you. You know, being able to walk through the session. I mean, I'll do a recap of all the trades we took. We had a very, very good week. Yesterday had plenty of opportunities for us as well. I think we'll continue to only get better and better setups. Today, you know, you guys got 2-3R as well. Mine missed by a couple points, unfortunately. So we're getting really close to this entry. I think we'll be able to cash in here soon. Let's see if we can get into this one. All right, Dow starting to push. Let's see, NQ also doing its thing. Yeah, it looks like Dow's got a little bit more imbalance to go towards. Yeah, right now we're steady rejecting over here. So my short is going to look something like this. Yeah, right around here. That's what I'm looking at. Kind of this last push down. I think we can get a good play right there. Slow and steady, guys. Slow and steady. Any questions? Trading psychology, technical analysis, crypto, stocks, the future of anything. Rabbit hole questions. While we wait here, for our trade to line up. Okay. Where would Dow entry be? I think you might be behind. Let's see. Looking forward to rewatching this week's setups. Yeah, I could do a recap too. That'd be a good video. I took the first trade on Dow Jones, so now I'm just watching and drinking some coffee with no protein. With no protein, that's funny. We're in a protein-obsessed world, and I'm here for it. I'm just waiting for like protein, vegan, flaming hot Cheetos, and my life will be complete. That's basically it. That's all I need. Huh? Lay's? All right, here. Lay's. Nance wants me to look at Lay's. It must be Is there a Lay's chart? I think Lay's, are they owned by like Pepsi or something? I feel like they might be. I'm not sure. Flaming hot pork rinds. That's got to be a thing. I feel like that's a thing. Hold on. Let's see. How's your It is, yeah. They are owned by Pepsi. Man, that was somewhere in the archives. I don't really know how I remember that. Pep. What does Pepsi look like? PepsiCo. Did you say Petco? No, it's just Pep. Oh, we should have said this 2 days ago. It just pumped. Nice little 8% move. I feel some type of way about investing in Pepsi though. Like these companies, you know, that are just killing everyone. As much as I love Flaming Hots, I know it's so bad. It's so bad. I wouldn't have pulled the trigger on this though. A couple weeks back. Just looks like a lot of liquidity. Interesting. You guys, I think I missed a couple of setups stocks that you guys had brought up the other day. Let's see. Okay. Oh, Nancy came in clutch with the Chike. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it, not going to lie. So, if you didn't see it already, go check out the last upload I had so you guys know the step-by-step on the stocks challenge and the kind of the vision behind it. Go ahead and let me know. And then before you guys leave, if you could drop in the chat what type of video you would want to see from me so that I can give you guys some more content, some more value, so you keep improving your trading. Let me know. But, yeah, take care, guys. I will see you on Monday. Peace out, fam. I'm going to go ahead here. Appreciate y'all for plugging in. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. And then as well, for those of you that might be here for the first time ever, make sure that you're in our free community on the left. And then if you want some more personalized training, then on the right, you have that QR code so you can schedule to learn more about it. Guys, I will say Saturday, that's just for the syndicate. So I'll let you guys know here in the chat. I'll shoot you guys a message. Yeah, because we're going to be doing a nice little deep dive on the TA. All right. Take care, guys. Peace.